Welcome back to Everyday Nuggets. Today, we look into the incredible story of how Marvel Comics rose from the brink of bankruptcy to become a multi-billion-dollar entertainment powerhouse. It's a tale of creativity, perseverance, and business savvy that transformed a struggling comic book publisher into one of the most valuable intellectual property arsenals in entertainment history. Marvel's journey began in 1939, when publisher Martin Goodman established Timely Comics. The company's first publication, Marvel Comics #1, introduced characters like the Human Torch and Namor the Submariner. But it wasn't until 1941 that they struck gold with the creation of Captain America by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. This patriotic superhero, punching Hitler on his debut cover, captured the American spirit during World War II. The debut issue sold nearly 1 million copies. After the war, superhero comics fell out of fashion, and Timely Comics struggled to maintain relevance. The company rebranded as Atlas Comics in the 1950s, publishing titles in various genres, including westerns, horror, and romance, to stay afloat. But the comic book industry faced a significant challenge when psychiatrist Frederick Wertham published Seduction of the Innocent in 1954, claiming comics corrupted young minds and led to juvenile delinquency. This moral panic led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority, a self-regulatory body that severely restricted creative freedom. Violence, horror elements, and even the word weird were banned from comics. This censorship dealt a devastating blow to the industry, and many publishers went out of business. The 1960s marked a remarkable transformation when Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko ushered in the Marvel Age of Comics. Facing competition from DC's successful Justice League, publisher Martin Goodman tasked Stan Lee with creating a superhero team. The result was the Fantastic Four in 1961, introducing a revolutionary approach to superheroes. What made Marvel's new characters different? They weren't perfect or infallible. They were flawed, relatable humans with extraordinary abilities. The Fantastic Four argued amongst themselves. Spider-Man struggled with everyday problems like paying rent and maintaining relationships. The X-Men faced discrimination and prejudice. This humanization of superheroes resonated with readers, particularly college students who appreciated the more sophisticated storytelling. Marvel's creative renaissance continued with the introduction of iconic characters like the Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and the Avengers. Stan Lee's innovative Marvel method of storytelling gave artists like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko unprecedented creative freedom, resulting in dynamic visual storytelling that revolutionized the medium. By the late 1960s, Marvel had surpassed longtime industry leader DC Comics in sales and popularity. However, this creative golden age wouldn't last forever. The 1970s and 1980s saw Marvel change hands multiple times. Cadence Industries acquired the company in 1968, followed by New World Pictures in 1986, and then investor Ronald Perelman in 1989 for $82.5 million. Each transition brought different business strategies and editorial priorities, sometimes emphasizing financial performance over creative experimentation. The early 1990s initially seemed promising as the comic book industry experienced a massive speculator boom. Collectors bought multiple copies of issues, especially those with gimmicks like holographic covers, believing they would appreciate in value. Marvel capitalized on this trend, increasing production and prices. But this bubble was destined to burst. The market became oversaturated with collector's item comics that weren't actually rare. When collectors realized their investments weren't appreciating as expected, the market collapsed. Comic book sales plummeted across the industry, particularly affecting Marvel. By December 1996, Marvel was drowning in debt and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company that had created some of the world's most beloved superheroes now faced its greatest challenge: survival. By the early 2000s, Marvel's emergence from bankruptcy had created opportunities for an ambitious new chapter. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was about to embark on its most ambitious phase yet. With the groundwork laid by Iron Man and the Avengers, Marvel Studios was poised to transform from an upstart success story into the most dominant force in modern cinema. Marvel's Phase 2 films built upon their established formula while expanding their cosmic universe. Guardians of the Galaxy, featuring a talking raccoon and a sentient tree, was considered Marvel's biggest risk yet. Industry analysts questioned whether audiences would connect with these obscure characters. The answer? A resounding yes. The film grossed over $770 million worldwide, proving Marvel could turn virtually any comic property into gold. Meanwhile, the studio continued strengthening its interconnected narrative. Each film served dual purposes, telling a compelling standalone story while advancing the larger arc involving the Infinity Stones, powerful cosmic artifacts that would become central to the franchise's climax. Kevin Feige, Marvel's architect, meticulously planned this build-up, saying, "We've been planting seeds for Thanos and the Infinity Stones since the very beginning. Everything has been leading to this confrontation." By the time Avengers: Infinity War arrived in 2018, Marvel had created something unprecedented, a cinematic universe spanning 19 films with consistent quality and growing box office returns. The anticipation was unlike anything Hollywood had seen. Infinity War smashed records with a $257 million domestic opening weekend and grossed over $2 billion worldwide. Its sequel, Avengers: Endgame, performed even better, briefly overtaking Avatar as the highest-grossing film of all time with approximately $2.79 billion globally. This record was short-lived, however, as Avatar reclaimed the top spot in 2021, following a successful re-release in China, pushing its total to $2.8 billion. What's remarkable isn't just the financial success, but the cultural impact. Marvel premiere dates became global events. Spoiler warnings dominated social media. Character deaths prompted genuine emotional responses from audiences who had spent a decade with these heroes. Film critic Scott Mendelson noted, "What Marvel accomplished isn't just about box office numbers. They've created a generation's defining mythology." Disney's $4 billion acquisition of Marvel in 2009 might be one of the most incredible business deals in entertainment history. By 2019, Marvel films had generated over $18 billion at the global box office for Disney, not counting merchandise, theme park attractions, and other revenue streams. Disney's marketing muscle and global distribution network amplified Marvel's creative vision. The parent company largely maintained a hands-off approach to Feige's leadership, recognizing the formula was working spectacularly. This alliance created a virtuous cycle. Marvel's success fueled Disney's dominance, while Disney's resources allowed Marvel to take bigger swings. Not everything has been perfect in the Marvel universe. After Endgame, the studio faced questions about superhero fatigue, and Phase 4 films received more mixed reactions than their predecessors. Despite these challenges, Marvel has consistently shown an ability to evolve. WandaVision experimented with television formats. Shang-Chi introduced new cultural perspectives. Multiverse of Madness incorporated elements of horror. Each represented Marvel's willingness to stretch their established template. Victoria Alonso, Marvel's production president, emphasized this approach. "We have to keep challenging ourselves. The moment we get comfortable is the moment we start to decline." It isn't easy to overstate the transformation Marvel has undergone. From the brink of bankruptcy in 1996, selling movie rights to stay afloat, to becoming Hollywood's most reliable hitmaker and the centerpiece of Disney's entertainment empire. The company that once couldn't secure financing for Iron Man now routinely produces billion-dollar blockbusters, The heroes formerly considered too obscure for mainstream audiences are now featured on merchandise worldwide. The comic book medium, once dismissed as juvenile, now shapes global popular culture. Perhaps most impressively, Marvel accomplished this while maintaining storytelling coherence across dozens of projects, something no other studio has successfully replicated at this scale. As Kevin Feige reflected, "We started with a character most people didn't know, played by an actor returning from controversy, directed by someone known for independent films. Everything was a risk, but we believed in these stories. And it turns out, so did audiences around the world. From bankruptcy to billions, Marvel's journey represents not just a business success story, but a fundamental reimagining of what's possible in modern entertainment." Thank you for watching another episode of Everyday Nuggets. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more videos. If you have suggestions for other everyday things you'd like to know about, please leave them in the comments below. Stay curious.